the first release from Phoebe Philo. It's been a very, very long wait. So we haven't seen anything yet, but from first glance, I love it. I'm just worried about the sales and price point. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Because the thing about it is that, yes, they're expensive, but like if you look on the website, a lot of the stuff is selling out, which is like insane. Yeah, a lot of people talking about the prices. What I'm seeing on IG comments, the pricing for the pieces are crazy. Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing, though. The prices are crazy, but they're still selling out. And the funny thing is, with a lot of brands, even though some of their prices just seem insane, at the end of the day, like they have market research and they know their audience and they know their customer base. Phoebe Philo, especially, would be someone that knows her customer because she worked at Chloe and Celine for so long. She has like certain customers in mind that used to buy her things. Um, so no, even though the prices they are insane, they are, but it's still selling out, which is good for her, to be fair. And I said my connection is bad. Oh my god. Oh my. But anyway, kind of to get straight into it. So of course, this is Phoebe Philo's first release from her eponymous label. It's titled A1. And then it's kind of going to follow this sort of like seasonless trend, drop online, direct to consumer. And we're going to get A2, I think they said in spring. So that's something to look forward to next. Um, and of course, we saw a lot of diversity in terms of the modeling choice. That was very interesting. And so what we're going to do now is go straight into the images, and then we're going to go and look at every single piece that dropped, look at the price, look at the fabrics, and talk about each piece. So it should be quite a fun live. Hello, hello.
Well, hello. Oh my God. Sorry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, ignore the hair today. Ignore the hair.
A
This
woman called Philo.
that, that's,
A woman called Philo. It's so funny because that Phoebe Philo like whole she didn't want to use black models. I've seen some comments online of people saying it's so not true, and I'm like, what world are you living in? Like, maybe people think that she was referring to in the current day, but there was that article that came out in 2013 in the New York Times. It was called Fashion's Blind Spot. And in that article, at that point in time, she had not used one black model. So it was after that article and that backlash came that people started like being on her neck, and then she eventually decided to use different models. But yeah, Hanan, first thoughts on the Phoebe Philo collection?
um um I did not know that she I didn't know I didn't hope that she's going to go this hard, to be honest.
Mm.
She went she went in.
Why? She did go in. Like,
She went in.
I'm
She
I wanted to go into the collection more in the live stream, but from what I've seen, it's really, really good. Really good. And the
honestly
thing
it
about Phoebe Philo's work is that everything works. So if you're like a super, super rich woman, you could buy everything and have a cohesive wardrobe because everything works with each other.
no, for me she went in as far as like the clothes, the design, it's like quintessential her.
I
I
just
don't know.
love how it's
That is
funny
so
how like okay, you see these trousers with the back zip.
oh they're
That's
beautiful.
something that she did a few times at Celine, and Peter Doe has done that a few times. So it's quite kind of funny that kind of the master is taking back her reins of her designs.
As she should.
Um, exactly as she should. I mean, it's her thing.
But it's like You know what? Like yes, it's like it's her, but like it's instantly recognizable. I love that.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm just like very happy that she, because I was like disappointed because the kind of the area that she created is kind of saturated with Peter Doe,
Hmm.
Daniel Lee at Bottega. It was kind of like Victoria Beckham, the Row. Like you kind of have a couple of brands that were like in that market, but she came back. She's like, hey guys,
Like even Rock.
even Rock, exactly. And I love his work. I love that guy. He's so
Didn't
underrated.
he work for Celine under
He-
Phoebe Philo?
yeah, he did. He was one of the
Yeah.
he was one of the students, one of the
Yeah,
one
exactly.
kids.
The
But
Philophile students.
yeah, and he's great. People like are sleeping on him. But she came back and she's like, no, I'll show you how it's done.
I wonder what's going to happen with the customers of all those brands. Like if she's just going to take
Oh,
all of their customers.
I mean, it's so good. Look at that
No,
jacket.
it's so good.
It's
Even
so damn
the
good.
way it's shot.
Ugh, it is so damn good. It's giving me a lie a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah, I saw a lot of journalists saying that it's a very sexy vibe, and even that whole like famous Phoebe Philo statement where she said, "My aim is to reveal, not to display women." So it's like a sexiness that's like very clothed is like what she's always done.
Understitch, come join the live. I love Understitch.
So do I.
Honestly.
Honestly, it's when is your video dropping? I was waiting for that. Like refreshing my page.
By the way, that whoever go back. Whoever decided to reference Diana Reeland. One
Yeah.
or one more. Dude, it's Diana Reeland or Phoebe.
That's cool.
I swear. I swear.
So it's giving a lie with a dash of early Helmet Lang.
Well, honestly, she was very even like in Celine, she was very much inspired by
Heavily Helmet Lang
like
inspired.
a lot. Like if you
And
get
that's no secret. Everyone talks about that all the time.
yeah, like a lot, like inspired, sis.
What did you think about the prices? Because obviously the biggest conversation right now is about
So
how high the prices were.
I guess that like us commentators are being dragged online now because we're
Hmm.
talking about the prices and that they're high, and people are saying, "Oh my god, like you do not see other brands that are charging."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but like I get that she has a name. Again, just what you said, like they know how much they're going to charge for this, and they're going to sell out.
100%.
It is fine,
100%.
but like, is it still a shock for me that a coat costs $19,000? Yeah, it is. So if you want to like diss us, sorry that we do not. Some of us do not come from like
And the
uh,
thing is, more
money.
than half of it has sold out. So like the prices are
Exactly.
high, but more than half of it is literally gone. Like, look, I just refreshed the page. Look at how much red there is.
That's crazy.
Like, like what?
Exactly. Like
It's like damn near sold out.
we're not dissing the brand. They know what they're doing. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they of course they
They
know what they're doing.
100% they know what they're doing. But by the same token, like, are some of those pieces super high? Yeah, they are.
I mean, some of them, and we'll get to it because I'm gonna go through everything. But like, there was gold plated jewelry that was an
Yeah,
insane
mom.
price, and it's like it's gold plated.
It was. It's
That is obviously so clearly overpriced, but still gonna sell anyway because it's Phoebe
it's the mom
Philo.
necklace, and it's like $500 for the mom necklace. I'm like, sister, you can DIY that. Just so you know. And that bag there that you see right now, $8,500.
Yeah, that was
That was a shock,
crazy. This like tote bag. It's
honestly.
probably why it hasn't sold out amongst all the other things that have.
Like you
But
can
for a black leather tote bag,
you
that's a
cannot tell me that
crazy price.
that is crazy. Honestly, that,
That's an insane
that
price.
is a lot of money. Sorry.
For like a very simple leather tote bag, like that is insanity. It's
85.
just so
That's
much
like
money.
that's like entering like Chanel territory right now. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is a good point. So I was speaking to someone that actually worked with the Phoebe Philo team, and he was telling me that basically women were like they didn't buy anything for months in anticipation for Phoebe Philo's collection, hence why it's selling out so quickly, because obviously they saved all their money. But even those people that are saving their money, they're still rich women. They're not like
Yeah,
people like me. They're still not normal people.
exactly.
I'll bring your dog into the stream.
Yeah. Wait.
Hanan has such a cute dog.
Ziggy. Look at him.
Yeah, I love the tote too. It's big, it's versatile.
Oh fuck my.
Um,
Sure.
so I love it, but it's just the price is just so crazy.
The
But
to-
it's probably still gonna sell out eventually.
it will. It will.
It'll
But
get to the point where, because I feel like a lot of people that wanted to buy this collection probably haven't realized it's up yet, depending on like time zones, where they are in the world. And then when they come to the website and it's only like the tote bags left or whatever, they're just gonna buy it because they want something from the collection
well,
and they can afford it.
girl, you better wake up. Otherwise, the only thing that you're going to have available is the back.
This cargo jacket in. There was a lot of viscose in this collection, fabric
Right?
wise, I noticed,
It
which is
really
kind of bad. Considering the price point,
viscose
it's a
is
bit
not.
too much viscose.
I mean, like viscose is cheap.
Yeah, viscose is cheap.
That's the thing. That's why I was shocked when like the Burberry had that dress for like $70,000, and it was made
Yeah,
out of.
it's
And I'm like,
luxury fashion these days. This like splice skirt was one of the first things I saw to
me too.
like sell out.
It was so good. Though.
People seem to really love this.
It is beautiful though. It really.
See, this is also in a viscose twill. It's a lot of interesting. Not
So
too sure about the fabric choices.
So from what I understood, so there's going to be 150 pieces in this. So the first collection is called A1.
Yeah,
And it's
A1,
going to be
yeah.
150 pieces, but there's going to be more drops by till the end of
Yeah.
the
Yeah, 2 more drops as far
Mhm.
as far as I know. So it's 3 drops in total. And then A2 is coming in spring, which is
Spring.
like the next collection. But they said everything is going to be seasonless regardless.
I love those glasses.
No, I love these.
They're really pretty. And they're made out of viscose. No.
Imagine viscose sunglasses. Oh my word. We have the famous Phoebe Philo
Yes.
high neck jumper. Channel your inner Phoebe Philo by dressing like her.
Yeah.
I want to see, what is this made out of? Okay, this is made out of merino and yak wool. So that makes sense fabric wise. That's fair. So I guess the knitwear, the fabrics make sense. The bags, the fabrics make sense.
The one
but
on
a lot of
the one on the bottom, the white one with the neck thingy, that is beautiful. The scarf top.
Oh yeah, the scarf top. Yeah.
Curious, what is on that? Is that a necklace? Oh, that's a necklace. Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, because I was trying to see like how do you go from here to here?
Exactly. That's.
And this is in silk satin.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, I thought that the necklace is part of the. Okay.
I love how this is just called man's coat because it's just like really long and like the sleeves are elongated and the shoulders are a bit boxy. In wool, this is a wool coat too, so that's fair. The price in this is fair. I think it's the earlier, but I know across the collection there were a lot of the pieces made of viscose. And see what I mean about the trouser zip? That is literally what Peter Doe does, literally. But it's obviously a Phoebe Philo signature.
The pieces are really good, honestly.
Yeah, talking about the sequin t-shirt dress was $19,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the prices sent me for one, I'm not gonna lie.
Come on.
Oh, the jewelry. I want to see, what are these, what are they made out of again? So this is the mum bracelet. Shout out to Phoebe Philo, being
a mother.
a proud mother.
And it's
That's why she left That's why she left Chloe originally, no? To
Yeah,
focus on just
it's
like being a full-time mom.
so it's not gold plated.
It's
Oh,
23
it is.
karat gold plated
It is.
sterling silver. So for what they're charging to me is insanity. It's sterling silver gold plated. That's insane. That is
And that is
crazy.
the bracelet. The necklace is $5,000.
Yeah. For gold plated sterling silver. I'm not too sure about all of that.
Maybe that's why it's not sold out. I mean, if it
But
was
it's
made,
weird because if you get this chain custom made, like the exact same thing with like pure gold, it wouldn't be far off that price. Obviously, it won't be like a high carat gold, but
yeah,
it would still be better quality than like this.
true.
Someone said the Mumi. Someone said it might not be mum. It might be the necklace.
I like
Yeah,
that.
this is another. Like the bags are, the prices are
The
killing
price of
me.
that bag is crazy.
That's £5,800. How much is that in dollars?
That is 8,500. 8,500
That's crazy
for the
for a
bag.
suede bag.
So
That's insane.
the
That's
homophobia on the
insane.
is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Honestly,
someone said bespoke it costs the same exactly, which is why sometimes these prices they really do send me for one because I'm just thinking like I could literally go to a jeweler in central London, which is like the most expensive part of London, and get something the same
for
price but actual real gold and it's custom made. That's why there's certain things that I would buy from fashion brands. Like if I was a woman, like a lot of the like skirts, the tailoring I would buy
I
from
love those
this
boots. I'm
collection.
shocked. I love those boots. I'm shocked that they
Yeah,
didn't
the foot.
get
I
that,
like the
like,
footwear throughout the collection, and she
yeah.
brought back like the pumps, all the different pumps from Celine. I wonder if like IP wise, how she's able to bring back her Celine signatures and not get into any IP trouble. I guess because it's LVMH backed, they don't care.
I would think so, right? Well, she's
Yeah,
not backed by LVMH.
she is. She is.
Is it LVMH or Richemont?
LVMH. I thought it was LVMH. I'm almost 100% sure she's LVMH backed.
Right.
Which would suggest why she can like bring back her Celine signatures because they're like, yeah, do what you want. Like, we're not selling that at Celine now
Yeah, yeah, you're
anyway.
right.
So
Yeah, LV.
this is one way we can sell it.
Yeah, true.
Like all these square toe pumps, 100% Celine vibes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they own of it. I think it was a minority stake. Something I actually wanted to talk about is the fact that she didn't do a runway show, which I think is really smart.
I agree.
Because so many articles have come out recently of different designers who have forced themselves into doing runway shows and they've kind of gone bankrupt because of it, because they're just spending too much money on like stores and runway shows and all this stuff. So the fact they're doing everything online, no runway show, no in-person stores, that and everything is direct to consumer, so they're getting maximum profits. That's really smart
Yeah,
financially. And considering how much stuff is sold out already, they're making some good money. I
yeah.
know they didn't have like crazy numbers of things. They did say that in a press release.
She's too smart for a runway right now. You know, like I think that like she doesn't want to get into that whole thing yet. I think she's still like she just like wants to create clothes and that's it. But
Mm.
I think it's smart not to have a runway right now.
And ultimately, I think Phoebe Philo, because obviously this is now her own brand, but she's obviously she knows what she's doing because she's worked in fashion for so damn long. So I just guess she kind of knows if I'm going to start my own brand, I need to do it this way and do it that way. It's not a heritage luxury house
Yeah,
like I was, working at maybe at Chloe or Celine. It's not the same thing.
correct.
These are really interesting. These
They're very
embroidered tailored trousers. Mad expensive though, and it's viscose once again. But
again, dude. Viscose is becoming the it fabric.
the
Viscose.
fabric, viscose twill. Kind of interesting though, because the back is like more obviously the viscose, and then the front is more like twill. That's interesting. Because from the front, it just looks like that's how the whole trouser looks, but then from the back,
Yeah,
I really like that.
yeah. I wish that they were all the whole thing was like the front.
Yeah. $5,000 for sterling silver chrome hearts is shaking. Someone's asking who is the other dude. That's my very good friend Hanan, who runs the IG page I Deserve Couture.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing page. Follow him on TikTok,
And
Instagram, YouTube, everything.
I'm everywhere. And from now on, whenever you introduce me to people, you can be like one of the greatest minds.
One of the greatest minds in fashion. Let's hope the runs are really small in those bags at those prices. Yeah, so the funny thing, in the press release, they were talking about how they didn't want to produce too many things because they didn't want to just have things that like sit and like lead to pollution. But I'm like, that's cool. But another reason could also be because it's a new brand and you're trying to gauge numbers and trying to understand what your actual customer base is and how much would actually sell. So I like how these PR teams, they have a very interesting way of like spinning things. But the run isn't like huge on most of the pieces. Trench coat with attachable. These like military details and stuff. This is stuff that she's done quite a lot before.
I love when she does that though.
Yeah, and this is so like the attachable scarf is such a nice touch.
It is. It really. I was just about to say. It just like changes the whole look completely.
Exactly.
Honestly.
And it's the same coat. You attach the scarf, different look. Remove it, different look.
Exactly. Say 2 in 1.
With the scarf, it looks more like late night red carpet type vibes, and then you remove it and it's just like the everyday like military trench.
Like I think that like her campaign with like her name and everything is so good. And it's like that's what Daniel Lee wanted to do in Burberry, but she did it successful. Because like Daniel Lee's Burberry campaigns are not my favorite at all.
The problem with Burberry though is that it's just a brand that hasn't really had an identity. Like Christopher Bailey versus Riccardo Tisci versus Daniel Lee is so completely different. It's just like, yeah, it's directionless. So whereas it's Phoebe Philo. So with Phoebe Philo, I feel like she can get the branding and marketing done a lot easier. And it's very easy for people to understand because it's coming from like a singular vision versus Burberry that has had so many different visions in like recent times. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The profit margins without the stores, they're going to be insane. They're going to be insane. The only overhead I think they have, I was reading in the press release, they said that they have an in-house atelier for Phoebe Philo's brand. And they have some like really like skilled people working in the atelier, which is really cool. But that's like the main in-house thing, and the showroom I think is inside it too.
But to be
don't
honest,
quote me on that.
I have to say this, and I'm going to sound awful, but I don't want to be that girl, but I will be that girl. Like we waited for a very long time.
Yeah, I would, over 2 years.
Like they had a time to figure everything out, and they did. But you know, we waited for a long time. So I would be shocked if everything was not. Go into images only because they have different types of images. Scroll up. You see where it says shop view all? Go into
the
no, the ones on the side.
Oh, you mean images? Yeah.
Yeah, they're different. Yeah, they're different.
Oh, I thought they were like just the same. You know, like the scrolling campaign pictures. Okay, you're true. Some of them are the same, and then some of them
Yeah.
are different. I think this one has more. It
Correct.
seems.
She did a good job.
No, she 100% did.
Honestly.
I wonder who shot this. Like, who shot the campaign images?
Let me see on her Instagram if she has any info.
Isn't her Instagram just like there's no post?
Let me see. Maybe she posted something. Yeah, she didn't.
I'm gonna keep perusing the rest of the collection and talk about my disdain for the prices. No, I'm joking.
let's count how many.
I'm not the customer. I can't afford it.
Yeah. Jonathan Guo has an interesting comment. If someone in fashion just explain this goes down.
This is a really cool jacket. I love this like leather jacket.
Oh, interesting, Jonathan. Interesting.
Do you need a credit check before entering the showroom?
They protect your bank.
The prices of the leather goods are sending me because one bag is more expensive than some of the bespoke leather car interiors I work on. Brand equity is really something. 100%.
Very
100%. As someone in fashion, just to explain, viscose, okay, it costs a bit. Some luxury brands now use a very high-end viscose that almost has the same properties as silk, requires specific machines to get these properties. Okay, that's interesting because I've always just known viscose to be synthetic silk. So to me, because silk is so expensive now, more so now, especially because people obviously, like the way you get actual silk is not the most humane way. So it's just, even to get it is just really expensive. So silk is always, like real silk is always going to be a more expensive alternative. But yeah, I mean, every single fabric has different grades, like even polyester. There's like different levels of polyester. But to me, it's just like, even if it was real silk, the prices are still like, okay, it's high, but okay, it's real silk. But at viscose, it's like, unless I need to feel these like viscose fabrics that luxury brands are using. Because when I go to the showrooms of a lot of these brands and the pieces are made using viscose, they don't feel like they're that high quality.
fair. I was talking about the Burberry dress that cost 70 and it's made out of viscose, but then somebody from Burberry team messaged me and they're like, you cannot see the details of it because like they attached like a shit ton of feathers on it. So they're like, you cannot see the details why this cost $70,000. And I'm like, well, maybe you need to tell your team to kind of like do close-ups and stuff, because like when you hear viscose, it really doesn't sound.
Yeah, Alaya always use visco, but also, so it's also a case of, I guess it's a balance of like aesthetic and quality. Because the thing about Alaya is the silhouettes that Alaya used, it kind of made sense why you'd use viscose. It's like the same reason why, it's kind of like the same reason why Ray Kubo uses like polyester sometimes. It's not really a consideration of like, okay, I'm trying to get a piece that's the highest quality. It's more of a consideration of, I'm trying to do something aesthetically with this fabric. That's why it has to be polyester. And obviously, these different fabrics, they have different properties. Like everything doesn't have to be in some like leather or whatever. What did someone say? Viscose is not synthetic, it's made from cellulose. Isn't the meaning of synthetic just something that's like made through like a chemical process? Like it just isn't, as it is, it's not naturally occurring. Was square toe always a thing for Phoebe? Notice it's a bit of a trend at the moment. She's had a lot of like square toe footwear, but I don't know about always a thing. It just depends on what season. Viscose is made from cellulose, wood pulp. A lot of work being done in trying to make cellulose with reduced environmental impact. Yeah, but I mean, the work is still being done, so we'll get there anyway. That's the whole point. The more these brands use these fabrics, the more investment is going to be put into improving it, to be honest. Yeah, someone said Issey Miyake pleats is polyester. Exactly. So like it's a balance between, and the thing about Issey Miyake also is that his pleats are actually really high quality, even though it is polyester. Like I've had some Issey Miyake en plissé pieces forever, and they are showing no signs of wear and tear at all. But then there are other issues with polyester, like when you put it in the wash, how much of it like actually, yeah. So it's it's a long ass conversation. Yeah, use of chemicals is in breaking down to wood pulp, exactly. But my thing is more, I think when I look at the price, I justify how much I think the fabric costs to make or to create versus like how much they're charging. Of course, brand name, you can like inflate your prices how much you want, but like some of these is like Chanel prices for a new brand. Yes, it's Phoebe Philo, who's not necessarily a new designer. But I guess it's kind of telling that a lot of the like tote bags are the ones that are taking the longest to like sell out.
I mean, for that price, I mean, like, I'm still shocked at like a couple of pieces. Like that bomber jacket, I'm kind of shocked that that's still not sold out. The tassel ones.
Oof, that's spenny. A collar shirt for more than $1,000. Oof.
It does look
oof. Good. And it's just going to be made with cotton. Yeah, cotton.
Yeah.
Like, damn. That's what I mean about the prices, but hey, it's Phoebe Philo.
Phoebe said recession might be around, but it's fine.
But okay, that's cool. This bomber is £8,300, like probably over $10,000.
I thought that that's going to be sold out pretty fast.
It's like a statement piece. I like it.
Yeah. Have we seen it anywhere?
Embroidered front end with hand cut. There has been
a couple of brands that did that.
Stella McCartney uses a particular company that replants a tree for every tree they cut to make viscose. That's really good.
Oh, wow.
That's really, really good. I mean,
yeah,
Stella is known as like one of the people at the forefront of sustainability in fashion anyway. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
And she was like that from the get-go. When she went to Chloe in like 2000s, immediately like she set up the rules for sustainability, and that was like the beginning of 2000. So look at the 19K t-shirt dress. Yeah, the sequin one.
Yeah. We're gonna get to it. I just think a lot of these brands, like even Bottega, their prices are like insane. Like I've seen Bottega skirts that go for like 60K and stuff.
Yeah, there was that skirt from his first collection that that kind of was like this like fringy, and then there was another dress on top of it, and that was like $29,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the $19,000.
It's gonna scare off the customers who went around when Phoebe was at her peak. I deserve Phoebe Philo.
That ain't happening. Don't worry.
To be fair, the price of it is insane, but I can imagine if these sequins were hand applied, that could take forever. So depending on how it was made, I can see how this price could just be insane. To be fair.
Wait, go into the description. What does it say?
Yeah, hand knitted long sleeve t-shirt dress in Stucco soft twist viscose yarn. The dress is all over hand embroidered. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
With iridescent sequins. So yeah, I could, even though it is an insane price, I get it.
Yeah.
More so than a lot of the other pieces in the because it's hand knitted and hand embroidered.
You need to put that in the name of the dress, because people see a dress, they're going to be like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're going to look at the price and then be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But I mean, yeah, considering how it was made, it makes sense. The price does make sense.
Uli made a good comment. He said, those sequins need to shine brighter than my future. I 100%. I 100%.
This is another good point, though, but that means they're incredibly delicate, definitely not meant for rigorous wear. But I mean, the kind of woman that can afford a sequin t-shirt dress for like this much is not that's not a worry they have, to be honest. They're not worrying about the fact that they can't wear it often. They'll probably wear it once a year.
Girl, if it was me.
Yeah, I do think the 90K knitted sequin dress crazy overpriced. I'm also questioning the longevity of the piece because I've seen hand embroidered sequins on knit in person before. They require loose tension. Yeah, I don't think it's something that most pieces actually that are handmade, unless it's like a leather good or something.
Yeah.
Like knitwear and stuff, they're not the most durable things, but it's more you're paying for the craft of like the fact that people hand created it. Like created it by hand. Al said demi couture nonsense.
The understitched video dropped.
Oh my god. I'm gonna watch the understitched video after this stream.
Why didn't I understand?
It's very heartening to think that a good amount of money will go to highly skilled craftspeople. Yeah, I agree. Especially because craftspeople as an art is something that's dying. Like even when you read about on my Patreon in my like fashion book club, I was talking about how like Chanel, how many people used to work at the Chanel Atelier for like haute couture, and how a lot of these craftspeople, it's like a dying breed because the demand is just not there for these people anymore. So there aren't even the jobs. So then these people don't exist. And a lot of crafts are being lost because of that. So it's kind of a shame. So it's always good when money is being put back into kind of preserving a lot of these crafts.
True.
Jonathan Greer says, it's expensive, yes, but it's priced the same as the Row, Bottega, etc. They target the same clients, so she wouldn't price themselves under those brands who have continued her aesthetic. Yeah, true. Very, very true. That's why I say, like, I'm saying it's like super overpriced, but like I've also mentioned that once again, I'm not the customer. I'm too poor to be the customer.
Some pieces like, price. I'm sorry, that bag I still cannot get over the bag. I'm sorry. They
are like even like gold plated jewelry.
The necklace
for the price she's charging is insane.
The sequin one I can see, but still like that's. But again, just what you said. I mean, like it doesn't have the same. Woman that's going to pay $19,000 for a dress, she's not going to be worried if
exactly.
She's going to wear it like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe not even that much.
Probably has like a walk-in wardrobe where you just walk in and it's like thousands of clothes.
Exactly, she's fine. Snap gloves.
Do you reckon she is well positioned for the shift in luxury market we are seeing? How Hermes, which has seen a solid investment, is going up in earnings, whereas LVMH/Kering are going down?
That's a fair point, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just want to see longevity-wise how this does, because obviously everyone loves Phoebe Philo, especially women. And it's like a woman designing for women, which in fashion we don't see a lot of these days. But there's a lot of hype. A lot of people have been waiting for this collection forever. I want to see how like 10 collections in, 11, 12 collections in, if like the same hype is still there.
I think that maybe it might go down in just because, like, like when you get the first one, you're like, okay, like she's back. There's going to be a second one. Mm-hmm. I don't think that she should follow like the regular she should do stuff at her own pace, I think. The same way
Mm.
that, like back in the day, Elia would do stuff at his own pace. He would not show whenever when the collection was not ready, he would not show. And I think that, like, until she feels good about the products and everything, she should not show. But then by the same token, I'm thinking, like, it's profit, it's LVMH, they want to see the money. So I think that that might be a problem for her in future, I think.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it's just like from the press release and what I was reading from the press release, it doesn't seem like she's going to follow the fashion system. I mean, she isn't now already. No runway show, a random online drop, direct to consumer,
Correct.
no stores. So even like I feel like the second drop is going to be the same way. All the other A1 drops are going to be the same way. She might have like maybe pop-ups here and there, installations. I think that's where she's going to go with it. She might eventually have runway shows. Who knows?
I don't see it. I don't see runway show. Honestly, I'll be honest with you.
Ever.
I don't think so. I think that she's very.
Wow.
I don't think, like, because I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to create like a new model, I think. And I think that she's like, out of all the designers that, like, we know right now, there's not a lot of designers that can create their own brand,
Hmm.
like,
True.
based on their name and the following and the experience that they have. She is one of the rare ones, actually, they can. So I think that with them, they're going to create completely new model that doesn't rely on runways, and it doesn't rely on hype. It just relies on drops. So I don't
Hmm.
see runways for her. I could be wrong though, but again, I'm thinking, like, it's LVMH. If it doesn't create enough profit, they're going to push her to go back like she was at Celine.
Mm.
So
And a lot of these brands, they're so impatient and it's so weird because they're just like even like all these designers getting fired after like a few
yeah,
seasons and all that stuff. And we were talking about in the last stream like the whole Gucci thing and the whole vote of no confidence that they gave Sabato after like literally a debut collection,
correct.
and people saying that they were like underwhelmed with the performance and stuff. And it's just like it's one collection.
Exactly.
You cannot like you can't
Exactly.
tell if something's going to be financially viable off of just one collection. That's way too small of a
True.
sample like size, sorry.
Unknown actually made a good point, and I agree with him. He says, I don't think the clothes would be impactful on the runway, which I
Mm.
agree. Some pieces would, but I think when you see them like static like this, you can see what you want to emphasize.
I think because the thing about runway shows is that the pieces that like really show on the runway are like pieces that have that sort of that theater to it. And Phoebe Philo is not really about that anyway.
Correct.
Even when she used to do runway shows for Celine, it wasn't like these huge spectacles. It was just you're there to see the clothes, and the buyers are there to buy almost
Exactly.
everything. Um, that's all it was. It's not because Phoebe Philo is more about like styling. It's more about putting clothes together in a certain way. It's more about this understated luxury. It's about um, a modern uniform. It's like for women especially. That was kind of the MO of Phoebe Philo. It's like you buy her clothes as a woman and you always look good.
Exactly. So I think that this system for her just like drops, it's going to be good. And I think that she's
Mm.
going to stick with this for a while. I think it's all like a testing thing. Um, because I think to start with the
That's
runway,
so funny. His reflex sample sale instead of sample size. No comment. No comment. The price would have seemed more ridiculous had we seen the collection for the first time on the runway.
True.
Yeah. Hinge ring. This is probably the only decently priced thing. And it's sterling silver and it's like what, $850 or around there.
She put her mind on the designing of that one. I mean, like,
I love it though. I mean,
I,
once
dude,
again, 850 for a sterling silver ring, bro. Sterling silver is the kind of stuff that you go to a farmer's market and you buy for €10.
that's
Like Like you buy sterling silver rings for €10 at a market.
The fashion conglomerates are so impatient with designers because they're focused on profit.
As opposed to building upon a house code. Yeah, but the problem with doing that is that you need stability at a brand. Like, look at what we were saying about Burberry, how it's just been a bit directionless because there's too many creative directors in a short span. And so when brands become directionless, I think that's the issue with like Gucci now. No one even understands it. No one knows what is the Gucci look, what's the aesthetic. It's just all a bit confusing. And that's what happens when brands are just trying too hard to, we need to make money now, now, now. You have to think of now, but you also have to think of the future.
Someone on my Instagram commented, I can see the necklace Mama for $19.95 at Zara.
I despise Phoebe to hell, that racist. The man told us everything we need to know. And then Micah says there's a black model. Hey, Phoebe learned.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, Phoebe learned since the article that came out in 2013. She's always used different models since 2013, but she had to be called out for it, which obviously suggests that she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And the fact she didn't use any black models before then, and the fact that she told Iman that I don't want to be forced to use black models is insane. I think what was more insane to me, honestly, because do you know what I was going to say?
You know what? Let me just say this. Why are we not holding Miuccia Prada to the same
True.
criteria? Honestly, I mean, like, if you're going to talk about like Phoebe Philo and like her not getting models, like we have to like talk about same thing as Rei Kawakubo. I'm sorry, same thing. Like from late 90s, she didn't do anything. She didn't have a single black model for like, don't quote me, like 15 years or something. So you know, it was a problem back in the day for, I think, not just Phoebe. I think it's a lot of designers. So I think that everybody should be held to the same standard in this one.
Yeah, I think Miuccia Prada was the person that actually nuked black models for a while. She was actually the one that nuked it. She was just like, I don't know if it was because of black models or if it was for something else, but there was a time when black models were thriving in fashion, and then Miuccia Prada came and said, the focus is too much on the models. We need to make the focus back on the clothes. And then she's like almost influenced the whole of fashion to stop casting big name models.
Exactly.
And just to start casting unknown models. And then we went back to like everyone just being like white and skinny. And she was like, we're doing this because it's like focusing on the clothes and not the model and personalities. So she literally nuked the diversity in the modeling industry.
If we're going to talk about Phoebe, we have to talk about Rei and Miuccia and like the rest of the fashion industry. But you know, she's being called out only, and I'm like, there's people that also did bad.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly. And you know what, Phoebe, if you're listening to this, I'll take the bag. I'll take the bag.
Oh my god. And it's just, so the thing about the models thing though that really spins me is that one excuse, I'm not saying Phoebe Philo said this, I have no indication that Phoebe Philo ever said this. I'm not saying Phoebe, but just in general, I've seen cases where like certain designers get called out for only using white models, and their rebuttal is always terrible. They always say things like, it has to reflect my customer base. And it's like, okay, when I look at your brand, it's Asians that buy your clothes the most.
Correct.
So where are the Asian models then, if we're going by that standard? So their argument is always just so stupid.
Correct.
So it's just like, just say you want to use white models and then we can just continue with our lives. Don't try and lie and say that, oh, we're just trying to like reflect the customer base. Because it's like, okay, all your models should be Chinese then. Like, stop.
I agree. That's very true.
So that's why sometimes those brands is just like, just say stuff and I'm like, bruh.
And I hate when people are like, oh my god, especially like when it comes to like about Chanel, when they're like, oh yeah, it's like for French women. I'm like, well, they sell to everybody in the world. Like, Chanel,
and I'm telling you, because France is a tiny ass country. Like, most of the people, the main customer base of Chanel, they're Asians. Like, I know some of these women, in fact. I know certain Asian women that every season they buy a couple of Chanel couture pieces, and then they buy like a certain number of ready to wear, and they buy the bags like every single season. France is a tiny ass country. You don't build $1 billion brand selling to
Just
French
because
women. No one does that. Like, it doesn't exist. If you only sold to French ladies, your brand would be bankrupt.
Frederick says, what's your general opinion on the collection in a few words? We like it. Some pieces are overpriced, but overall, if we had the money, we would.
Yeah. I love it. I love the styling. I think it's a lot of it is obviously stuff we've seen, like a lot of Celine, the Celine signatures, the back zips, and stuff we've seen her students do, like Peter Doe and stuff. So it's good that she's reclaiming her own signatures. But it's interesting. I mean, we've been waiting for this collection for a while. I love to see it. The price, they're sending me for one, but I'm not rich, so that might be why.
Was it worth the wait for you?
I mean, for 2 years, I think, to be fair, it's a nice collection, but for 2 years, I think we should have seen more. I'm not gonna lie. 2 years is a really long time, if I'm gonna be honest.
It's bad that you started that answer. It's been 2 years. I'm like, I know that this.
Like 2 years is an insane amount of time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is. It is. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think Asian market is the biggest market for almost every brand. Not so educated about this topic, but I'm still very positive about this. No, it is. Like when you when you look at the financial reports for a lot of these brands that you can find online easily, and they tell you they normally have charts like pie charts by region of how much they're selling, and Asia always dominates for most luxury brands. Like Europe is always some like tiny speck. Actually, Europe is normally like the tiny speck for most of these brands. America is a huge market, way bigger market than Europe for a lot of these brands. And then just Asia. And I know we do talk about China, but another country that has a lot of people that are luxury customers is Japan. Japan is known for having a lot of luxury customers. There was a time when I was talking about this on Patreon, but there was a time when I think 60% of all Japanese people owned a luxury goods item. 60% of the whole, like, that's crazy.
Wow.
It's insane.
I love that for
So
them.
yeah, all this concept of like selling to French women is just not, it's just not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at Celine, for example, like whatever is Elisa, whatever Lisa wears, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Lisa is like like from Blackpink, like
Yeah,
those,
Lisa is the ambassador.
like
Yeah,
those pieces get sold out in like a heartbeat. Like Frederick said, like they want to be BTS. Like all these Asians want to be BTS, so wear it and wear. But like those girls, like when they idolize a celebrity that is Korean, for example, like they're
Mhm.
gonna go and buy something that is $4,000, like in a heartbeat.
100%.
Can you refresh the page?
The picture's aesthetic is Peter Doe and Jill Sander. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, a lot of it is Peter Doe, even like down to a lot of the silhouettes. But I guess it's like it's a cross pollination because Peter Doe learned under her, and like they're kind of like it's both of their signatures. Even like the high neck jumper is also something that Peter Doe does once again, and that comes from Phoebe Philo. So there's going to be a lot of similarities between Peter Doe and like what Phoebe Philo does in general.
You expect
I want to see how much of it. No, I feel like everything's going to sell out eventually.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's a lot that's sold out though. Wow. Like, damn, they've done well. Especially because I'm just thinking the fact that everything's direct to consumer and there's no overheads like stores and runaway shows. The profit margins are going to be beautiful.
Honestly, you know what? Good job. Good job on making money. Good job. I love people that are smart. Good for them.
I remember when a K-pop group single-handedly revived Mihara Yasuhiro by buying his shoes. I didn't know that. I did. What? So is Mihara Yasuhiro like really, really, really popular in Korea? I didn't know that. I just
I didn't know.
like in London, people just wear those like melted looking Converses. And then a lot of the like runway pieces, like the distressed like tartan stuff that Mahari Yasuhiro makes. But I wouldn't say like in London, for example, it's not like super popular. But I see people wearing it.
In Florida, they don't know who that is. In Florida, they don't know who Phoebe Philo. Sorry.
It sounds like all my French female friends are so against wearing luxury at that price point. People think French girls are like Marie Antoinette when they're really the girls who sent her to the guillotine. I mean, that's a good point. The people do have loads of crazy stereotypes about different countries. It's kind of interesting. Oh, so the melted Vans. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Love you too. Have a nice day.
I love.
But that's interesting. It's funny that people say that like a lot of Asians want to be like BTS because I don't really know too much about what's going on in Asia, but I'd say in the West, I'd say a lot of people want to be like BTS. Like if you go to when you go to the runway shows in Paris, it's just French people that are like screaming for Lisa.
Dude,
like, oh my god, Lisa, oh my god.
I've never seen
oh my god.
I've never seen tighter security than at McQueen. We were at McQueen, and I don't know what celebrity it was. It was an Asian K-pop celebrity. Dude, they had a wall of security around him while he was sitting down. And they held the security like 3 seconds before the show started to move so the show can start. Like it's they go crazy over them, and I love seeing that.
I think it's amazing, to be honest.
It is. I have a picture of like this guy with security, and he's a K-pop celebrity, and everybody's around him. And then on the other side is Anna Wintour and Edward, and nobody's like, no one is like, "What's up, babe? Hi, sweetie."
Someone say, the Asians want to be like BTS. Half of the Koreans don't even listen to K-pop. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know what's going on in Asia, but outside looking in, like looking at Westerners, I know Westerners are definitely obsessed with K-pop. I only know about K-pop because of fashion, to be fair. Like you can't not know about K-pop when you're in fashion. You just have to, because all the ambassadors are like of a lot of brands are K-pop artists, so you can't really get away from it.
That and Patrick, you know, you met Patrick from Canada.
Yeah,
he's obsessed with like few K-pop girls, so that's how I know it.
So I'm a French background, sorry, but the Parisian/French look is boring in my opinion. There's so much more than that aesthetic in Paris and other French brands. Yeah, like I was just debunking the idea that people think that French women make these brands or that these brands are solely selling to French women and that's what's making them money when like France is like a tiny ass country compared to like most of the countries that make the big money, like the USA's, the Japan's, the China's, like. Oh, that's why Loic Pigeon's channel really popped off, is because he had K-pop stars in his thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first review that Loic Pigeon did of the Celine show when Lisa first became the ambassador. And that, I think it got 1 million views in like a few days. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
It was insane.
That's why he's always humming that song. How you like that?
He's like, it's making me money on YouTube.
He's like, I love Lisa.
I love Lisa. I made thousands of dollars off of her yesterday, off of the video I made.
Are you like bada boom, bada bing.
No, let me refresh this page, see how much of it is left.
It's just gonna be red.
This is half of it is red. What is annoying though is like
the mom necklace sold. sold out. Yep.
Oh, the silver one. The
Yeah,
silver
yeah.
mum
Oh, in
necklace.
silver.
What I do find annoying though is that when it's sold out, because just for the sake of the stream, when I'm trying to like flick through these images, it's just red, and I don't know how to change it back to white just so people can see what the actual color looks like. So you're just stuck with these like red images.
Oh, I took shots. I took
Oh,
screen.
beforehand. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I did not think about that they're going to go red.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, he's so smart.
No.
It's like no.
Think very highly of me.
Guys, who are your favorite niche, lesser
What?
known designers? I'd love to learn more.
Ooh,
Uh, let me have a think. Let me have a
let me
think.
think.
Niche designers.
Do they have to be like there's a good brand in Barcelona called Outsiders Division. They're very much, if you like Moschino, you're gonna like them. They're very playful, it's very funny. But other than that, who do I like? Rock. I tell you, like Rock actually like delivers.
Is Rock like unknown? Because I feel like Rock is like really famous at this point. Well, it's not big, but it's like it's a sizable, well-known brand. I do love Rock though. Rock is amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I'm trying to think because the brands I'm into, I'm trying to think of if they're actually low key or if they're like niche or not.
Namibia, Germany is actually really good. That they had that collection that was inspired by gold diggers. That one is actually really interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
hands down, if there's a brand that is, I'm not gonna say niche, but it's lesser known. She did show in Paris. Is, do you know Hodokova?
No.
Hodokova is hands down one of the best designers out there. She does what Balenciaga was supposed to be doing.
Lol.
Great designer. Hands down. Hodokova is brilliant.
I would say Lucanio Mdingi. This is my South African bias, but I don't think he'll still be low key this time next year. Yeah, Lucanio's work is sensational. When I went to Cape Town in South Africa, I got to go to the exhibition that Lucanio did on the top floor of what's that store in Cape Town, the sneaker shop. It's literally skipped my mind, but Lucanio Mdingi had some sort of like exhibition on the top floor. It was so good, so damn good. That was like one of the best like things I've been to.
I'll write it down.
Trying to think. To be fair, South Africa has a crazy amount of sick designers. Like Tebe Magugu obviously is the famous one, but there's also like the Kanye and Dingy. There's like Sindiso Kumalo, who's kind of like between South Africa and London. You have people like they kind of skip my mind, but like I know there's a lot because I am aware of like the work of quite a lot of South African designers. They're like doing really well.
The last one that blew my mind is that kid from Vietnam, and his name is Tai Hui. I'll write it down.
Do you think the return of someone like Kanye to fashion would have the same effect? No. I think people are starting to get tired of Kanye shenanigans. I can't lie. I
It's
know he'll
difficult.
always have like
Yeah.
a cult following of like edgy teens from like I don't know, like random places, but I feel like in general, in mass, people are getting a bit tired of his shit.
It's difficult to support anything he does at this point. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm just a bit tired of his antics personally.
Same. And with that
Is
being said,
ERD considered niche or lesser? See, that's what I'm seeing. Like, I don't know where that cutoff point is between like lesser known or niche. Because like, oh no. And to be fair, I don't even know what ERD is, unless you meant like ERL. But I've never heard of like ERD.
I don't know.
So that might be a brand that I've never heard of.
I heard of it.
If it is like ERD. Yeah, Hamkus is like, is it neat? That's another brand that's like, I feel like it's like kind of well known. Maybe because like my side of fashion, a lot of people know what hamkers is, so I don't have a good idea of like what would be considered um a well-known. Oh, is that what people call enfant rich de prime? Like that's actually people call it ERD. I didn't know that. I've only just seen it written as like what the brand name is. I didn't know people call it ERD. You probably heard it over price boring clothes. Yeah, I'm definitely aware of the brand. I remember they had that like collection where they had those like EU hoodies. Because a lot when Brexit happened, a lot of people that are like into fashion in London, they were buying like the EU hoodies from the brand. Like fashion protest, spending thousands of dollars to buy a hoodie in protest of the government. Interesting way to protest. Oh wow, this whole block is red.
Oh wow. Get that money.
Phoebe Philo doing the damn thing. Even a mum bracelet in gold. Damn.
Yeah.
Gold plated silver for the win. I need to stop being shady. I should actually stop. Like
No,
this block is gone. Wow, this block is almost gone.
The trench coat. The trench coat is actually one of the best pieces. Like
I know.
girls hop on it.
Considering the price of everything else, this is amazing. What? With the detachable scarf at the back. What? This is like really nice.
What's wrong with y'all people that have money? Don't you see good stuff? Unbelievable.
We're gonna tell you how to spend your own money, rich people.
Give me the money. I'll buy it for you, and I'll just buy a couple.
I'll be your personal shopper.
Is that?
I love Dilara Findakoglu. Is Dilara low key? Once again, is like she low key? But then again, I live in London and I went to CSM, so like
it depends exactly. It depends.
Yeah, so you can't get away from because at CSM the reason why like that's like a point is so Dilara Findakoglu. So if you guys don't know, like at CSM, the graduate collection, not every designer gets to show at the graduate collection. You have to be picked. And Dilara wasn't picked her year, so she created her own fashion show as like an FU to CSM for not picking her.
Very
and
much.
it became like, yeah, it was like a whole like guerrilla show, and like it became a massive thing. So people always talk about her show. If you go to CSM, it's like, oh, remember when Dilara? So that you cannot get away from Dilara Findakoglu.
That is such a good like origin villain story. That it really is.
Yeah, no, it's cool that she did that. To be fair, really cool.
I'm telling you, Cruella de Vil, very much. Arturo Obejero.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like for like is that could be a niche for some people. Like Arturo is not huge, but like I think that like fashion girlies know him.
100%. I remember when people were talking about having discussions about who was going to take over Aunt Wilhelmista, and Arturo was one of the names that came up.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna dip. I have to spend time with my dog, otherwise he's never gonna kiss me again, and we cannot have that happen.
Oh.
So yeah.
Say hello to your dog for me.
I sure will. I'll send you a video. It's a cutie pie. Okay. Perfect.
All right. See you later.
See you later. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your day. Where do I leave?
Okay. It's like, how do I leave this stream? And then there was one. I do find it crazy how many styles there are apparently in this, like 150 styles is a very beefy collection. And I know obviously everything's not being dropped at once. It's going to be dropped in 3 parts. So this is the first part. Be good to see like what else is, because I feel like Phoebe Philo in this collection has kind of touched all bases. The footwear, the bags, the coats, the trousers, like every single kind of the long skirts. Like your wardrobe is complete with this collection. Delara's about to go through a shitstorm. So many interns are coming out about awful experiences happening while working for her. Yeah, so that was also something that I started to learn when I was at CSM, because obviously at CSM, when you're in your third year, everyone does a year in industry. So everyone goes and works for different brands. So people like, I have friends that worked at Raf Simons, I have friends that worked at Iris Van Herpen, friends that worked at Delara. And a lot of the people back then used to say that Delara was horrible to work for. So even though I like her work, from what my friends have said that have worked for her, they say it wasn't like a great experience. So yeah. And obviously, I think an article came out saying that she was financially struggling. I think I read an article that said that. So things don't look too good for Delara's brand, to be honest. But yeah, this whole Phoebe Philo run out though, I think what I find most interesting about it is just all the considerations, considering it's a new brand. And most designers don't even get the opportunity to start their own brand on this level, especially being LVMH backed. Of course, Phoebe Philo is a top designer in high demand and made LVMH tons of money, which is why obviously it only made sense for them to back her. But I just like the way she's doing everything the right way, not having the crazy overheads and like kind of struggling before you even start by having all these like rent costs with the store and all these like crazy like $1 million runaway shows. You get the full profit from the online drops, and you also don't have to follow the fashion system, which I think actually, from if you think of the philosophy of what Phoebe Philo does, that's not her. She's not one to just like do things that are just like based on like hype and like, let me do the trendy thing, let me have the biggest show at Fashion Week. But she was in that system because when she was working at Chloe and Celine, you just have to exist in that system working for those brands. So I think even the way that she's releasing things now, it definitely reflects her as a person. I think the only crazy thing though is that I feel like this Phoebe Phalo's new brand, a lot of it is about like the silhouette, the cut, and a lot of it is about some of the fabrics being quite interesting. And it's kind of like a missed trick, obviously, because you don't have the store and everything is online. There's no interaction with the fabrics before you actually buy it or anything like that. There's no experience where you can actually experience the garments before buying. So I think maybe that is something that they will explore when the time is right and when it actually makes financial sense and when it's financially viable. But it's really smart because this is a video I'm going to make on YouTube at some point, but having runway shows makes so many designers bankrupt. And because a lot of designers aren't very financially savvy and they're not very business trained, they just think that, okay, to take my brand to the next level, I need to show at Fashion Week. And they save up all their money and spend it all at Fashion Week. And then they don't really make any money back. And then a lot of these brands like start to go under and start to struggle because they're trying to keep up the branding of showing at Fashion Week, but they really can't afford it. That's why I've always commended Peter Do, because Peter Do started as quite a successful brand, and Peter Do didn't do runway shows until that first show in New York, and it was when the time was right, and it was when the brand had time to be with so many stockists. So it's really good what she's doing. I think sometimes, because a lot of people don't see like the business side of fashion, sometimes it's like, oh, why don't they do runway shows and stuff? But for most brands, it isn't financially viable. It makes sense for like the brands that make loads of money, but for most brands, it doesn't make any sense. Exactly. Sold out half of the collection without any post on Instagram. It's like insane. How is it possible that the best pieces are still available? Sleeping on the coat, the viscose fur, and the zip pants. I know, right? One of my favorite pieces in the collection is still that military jacket. Let me see if I can find it. With the attachable scarf at the back. That is just lush. This trench coat is lush. It's so nice. I have no idea how that's not sold out. And then things like gold-plated silver jewelry is sold out. That's insane. And then things that are like way more expensive too. I really want the olive trench, but 6K USD is crazy. It is. It is. That's why I concede and say that I'm definitely not the customer base, because ultimately, like, it is crazy. And like someone said earlier, which was a fantastic point, she's marketing, or her brand is positioned against brands like Bottega and the Row, which are brands that have taken her aesthetic and run with it. So it's only right that she has the same price point of those as those brands. And to be honest, the customers of those brands could quite easily be customers of Phoebe Philo anyway. They're using damn near the same fabrics anyway. So for that customer, it makes sense. But for people that don't have a lot of money like me, 6K on a like trench coat is like wowzers. Yeah, that white turtleneck is speaking to me so much. Yeah, a lot of the collection is speaking to me, to be fair. The only thing that isn't speaking to me is my bank account. Um, that's the only thing that's missing. I wonder what the rate of returns is going to be. Yeah, yeah. I've been asking myself that question as well. Yeah, but then like I can't imagine that the leather that Phoebe Philo is using for her brand is far off. Like she's not going to be using some like crappy leather. Um, so even though Bottega, yes, their background is leather and that's what they do, I don't feel like the quality difference will be that crazy. I heard in Japan on Phoebe's last collection at Celine, people were panic buying all her clothes. Damn. Damn. I mean, like I said, I was saying earlier, for guys that have just jumped into the stream, that one of my friends, he is like working with the Phoebe Philo team, and he told me that a lot of their customers are women who kind of were buying Bottega and like a lot of these other brands, and they deliberately did not buy from those brands and saved money in anticipation of this Phoebe Philo release. So they had the money on hand to buy a lot of this stuff. Hence why, I mean, look at how much red there is. Like more than half of this collection at this point is sold out, which is insane because it's like mad expensive. Will they return or just resell? My bet is that people will just keep and resell. I mean, I don't know how resellable a lot of these things are, considering that this is just the first drop of 3 of A1, which is like the first collection. So I feel like the people that just didn't get to buy this stuff unless they really want it now will just wait for the second drop. For me, it's the perfect mix between the Row and Bottega. I see that. I 100% see that. Also, there's 100 plus of us in here, but only 68 likes. Let's make sure we like Fashion Roadman's video. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, I guess this, because people are talking about quiet luxury now, um, but it does seem like this is just going to like jump right into the quiet luxury conversation, because I mean, Phoebe Philo is what these people are describing as quite luxury, even though the reason, so people have asked me to make a quite luxury video. The reason why I just haven't done it, not saying I won't, but I almost don't see the point of doing it, because I have an audience that like knows that this way of dressing has always been a thing. Like we've talked about Jill Sander and Helmut Lang in the 90s and all this stuff. So it's like I just feel like I have nothing interesting to add to the conversation, because all I will say is, well, this is something that existed always. Like people that had a lot of money and didn't want logos showing, so they bought Helmut Lang and Jill Sander. Like it's not, I don't like what, there's nothing that interesting to say about it or anything of note. But I know that the people that are forerunning this trend, they will eat up this Phoebe Philo collection for sure. The most impressive thing was how it was kept also under wraps. All kept so under wraps, sorry. You know, having Phoebe on your CV is a golden ticket in the fashion world. Clearly, I mean, look at how many people, Daniel Lee, Peter Doe, Rock, like, it's endless. The Row. Comparing the Row and this Phoebe Philo drop, given that the price points are similar, which brand do you see is giving their customers more value? Oh, that's a really good question. You know what? I would say this because, to be honest, I think that the Row is actually more expensive. Like, it's a similar price point, but I've seen the Row pieces for like go for way more than even some of the prices here. So I think the Row is actually slightly more expensive anyway. So that automatically means that Phoebe Philo is giving you more value, and Phoebe Philo is the originator of the aesthetic as well. So just as a fashion person, you would rather go with the person that like originated the look over the copy of it. So I guess that's another like thing to think about. This is a really good comment. Some pieces resemble what she did at Celine, but with more freedom. Like it's almost a continuation, but elevated version of what she did for spring and fall 2018. That's such a good comment. It's called minimalism nonsense, quite luxury. Like there's so many brands that have like it's endless. Like Jill Sander, Helmet Lang, Lemaire, Xenia. Like these brands, we've known about them forever. We know these brands never have logo. Like that's why the whole quiet luxury conversation, it's just not. I know, and the thing is, I know if I made a quiet luxury video, I'll probably get loads of views and it would attract a lot of people that don't watch the channel. But it's like, do I really want to do that though? It's not. I wouldn't have fun making the video because most videos I make, I have a lot of fun doing the research and like learning about stuff. It's not something I would have fun making, which is why I wouldn't do it. Even though, okay, I might get views and stuff, but the real quiet luxury people are not doing quiet luxury anymore, to be honest. Now it's more chill and less fabricated, hence the row showing sporty clothing. I think someone earlier was asking me about Sabato. I think if I can find that comment, I might be wrong though. Like the whole Gucci shebang, because I made a TikTok about it today. Philip Plein is greater than that. Oh, sorry, Phoebe Philo. I thought it was like when I see PP, I automatically think Philip Plein. Phoebe Philo is greater than the Exactly. Just check the Rose site, and it's the same, if not more expensive. PP is Plein. That's the thing. Like, it's just it's a natural reaction. I see PP and I'm like, oh, Philip Plein is greater than the row. But obviously, when I thought about the context, I was like, yeah, okay, it's Phoebe Philo. Love your comment and insightful. Thank you very much. Because a lot of people don't like me. They think I'm too critical about things. So it's good that maybe some people do like me. um, I think all I do is just share my opinion, and sometimes it pisses people off, and then other people they like enjoy listening to what I have to say. I guess that's just life. Not everyone will like you. Some people will love you, and some people will hate you. It's just the circle of life. Oh, it's the perfect soft rollout before more comes out, and with everything being so grand in fashion, the slow online reveal is fresh. I feel that also has made a mark on how people are viewing it. I totally agree, and to be honest, what I really love about the way that she's released it, which is something that I've been thinking about as I've been scrolling through this stuff, is that we are really taking in the clothes in a way that you wouldn't at Fashion Week. Because what happens at Fashion Week is shows happen so quickly in succession, back to back, that before we can even talk about the Dior show, now we're all talking about the Balmain show. So it's just you don't really get time to take in the clothes, where we've spent damn near hours since this thing dropped just looking at, okay, this is made of viscose, this is made of wool, like, okay, this is an interesting shape, oh, look at the back details, like that's really interesting. And I feel like we've been able to take in the clothes a lot better through the way that this has been released than through like a runway show where it's really fleeting. Like there'll be one meme moment that becomes the big thing on social media. No one really focuses on the rest of the collection or the actual clothes, or the fabrics. So I feel like people are definitely going to take in this collection properly versus like if she did a runway show, maybe people take it in a bit less. Like there wouldn't be so much of a focus on the actual clothes. I meant Phoebe, Pline wasn't and is never on my mind. We love that you don't mind the haters. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're not going to please everyone. It's a YouTube. Like I'm a fan of so many like fashion content creators, and I see hate comments under all of their videos too. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, what is so hateable about this person? So I think you just come to a realization that you can't please everyone, regardless of what you do or say. It's just, that's just how it goes. Question: how do you think people will balance buying Phoebe Philo and Bottega? Are they going to stop buying Bottega Veneta? Well, no, because obviously there's only one place to get the Intrecciato. I don't know. I think there is definitely a crossover in terms of the customer base of Bottega Veneta and Phoebe Philo, but it's not a complete crossover. So those people in the middle, they're going to have to compete for those customers every season. But there are also people on the other ends of the spectrum. There are Phoebe Philo girls that could not care less about Bottega, and then there are the Bottega customers that couldn't care less about Phoebe, and they just want the luxury bags and the Intrecciato heels and stuff. So I think it just depends. But there's definitely like a crossover, and I think there's going to be a lot of competition for those customers. But I kind of think that Bottega is going to win that though, because Bottega is just, we see it more. There's more, it's more marketed, it's everywhere. I feel like Phoebe Philo is still like more of a niche brand. Like if I asked like my auntie in Nigeria, do you know what Bottega Veneta is? She would probably say yes. Whereas if I ask her what is Phoebe Philo or who is Phoebe Philo, like she's not going to have a clue. So there's still a lot of people that there's people that have a lot of money that won't know who Phoebe Philo is, but they'll know about Bottega and they'll buy the Bottega. So I think it just depends. This is a very good point. Exactly what I was saying. They've frozen a moment in time where the industry is looking only at Phoebe Philo, 100%. I was waiting. I was a huge fan of Phoebe Philo, and I was waiting for this drop for way too long. But this really disappointed me in terms of evaluation in her designs. It seems a bit too sexy and too flat for me. That's interesting. I mean, the wait was definitely crazy, and I think considering that we waited like damn near 2 years, yeah, for her to give us like Celine, kind of a continuation of like her last 5 Celine collections is kind of interesting. But I definitely loved the collection. There were definitely pieces I liked. The jewelry, I'm not the biggest fan of at all. The footwear, the coat's really good. I'm not a big fan of the bags as well, but yeah, the trousers are really nice. So I think it just depends. Jesse, I said, I feel like people are lying to be part of the conversation, minimalist or not. This is underwhelming. To be fair, people that watch this stream know that if I didn't like it, I would say, like, Phoebe Philo does not pay me money. I could care less. Like, if I didn't like it, there's many collections in the past that I haven't liked and I've literally gotten hate for it. But no, I definitely do like this collection. Also, she has positioned herself exactly outside of the fashion schedule and given us a date a month in advance to prepare ourselves, kind of like a concert or a holiday. Did you read the necklaces Moo Moo on? So people are saying, some people are saying it's the Moo Moo necklace. Some people are saying it's the mum necklace. Some people are saying it's the necklace. I kind of feel like it's a mystery. We need like a Phoebe Philo interview, which is very rare because she barely does interviews, where she actually explains. It only makes sense for it to be a mum necklace because that's kind of, it just goes with Phoebe Philo's story. The fact that she left Chloe to focus on being a mother, like it's just on brand for it to be a mum necklace. I probably even says it. Let me read it. Yeah, it literally says mum necklace in gold plated sterling silver. I still can't get over the fact that the necklace is gold plated sterling silver and it costs that much. It's like insane. But the price is the price. This is interesting. If anything, I think this drop has shown me I've outgrown her. Interesting. I think the only issue with Phoebe Philo though is that because her aesthetic is very distinctive, I think that, let's say I was like a rich woman and I had bought a lot of Phoebe Philo, I think I would get to the point where there's no more left to buy unless I'm just being really excessive. Because it's like, how many nicely tailored black trousers do you need in your wardrobe before you have too many? How many like of those coats? So I think there is like a cutoff point where you can kind of like buy a lot of Phoebe Philo and then not need to buy any more. Whereas talking about, because we were comparing Bottega with Phoebe Philo, Bottega has way more range. So there's like so many more different styles to buy from Bottega than there ever is to buy from Phoebe Philo. For now. Because we haven't seen all the other drops. This is the first release. Oh, hi Tuba. Everyone subscribe to her channel. She makes amazing videos. I'll leave her name on the screen for a while so you guys can check out her YouTube channel. When I first saw it, I was like, why does this necklace say mumu? It's so funny because in Nigeria, we have a word, mumu, and it's spelt the exact same way, and that word means idiot. Which is why it's just funny. She's just iconized the designs that made her the most famous, and that design is in the meantime knocked off. Yeah, 100%. Like, we've literally, earlier in the stream, I pointed out quite literally all the pieces in this collection that Peter Doe has been using that are actually just Phoebe Philo signatures. Being a 30-year-old woman in the architect industry, I don't really vibe with the Row of Philo or the kind of polished Scandi chic style. It's so dry. Much prefer Martin Rose. That's interesting. I think they are like two different kinds of people, because I think there's the kind of woman that wants to dress in this like understated, like chic way. And then there are women, like a lot of my friends actually, who dress in a more fun way, like a la the Martin Rose, the like really interesting silhouettes and the interesting shoulders and like frilly like sleeves and stuff. I just think it's like different strokes for different folks. Yeah, someone said maybe the next drops will surprise us. We shall see. We shall see. Minimalism seems like it exists as a pure expression of a commodity. I understand that collections like these are about the material, but it's hard to take it out of the context of its price value. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I'm a bit jaded with the fashion industry because I've worked in it for so long that I've less and less become less of a brand. Sorry, I've more and more become less of a brand whore. So every time I see a crazy price in my head, I just feel like I would literally just go to a fabric store in London, buy a very high quality wool fabric, go to my friend who's a tailor and just get him to make me a custom trench coat or like just a custom like wool jacket. That's just how I think now. And it'll just cost way less and it will fit exactly to my measurements, but that's just how I am. But I understand that some people just want the Phoebe Philo piece and some people just want, it's just how it is. Oh wow, so in Togo, mumu means stinky. That's hilarious. This collection is on point for how women who are into fashion in Denmark dress. Yeah, I mean, isn't Denmark known for the whole Scandi, like minimalism sort of aesthetic, like the Acne Studios kind of look? That's kind of like super, super Scandi. Yeah, same. I always look at materials composition. How can one pay 6K for a polyester coat, for example? Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, when Burberry, they made that, like, duck hat, and it was, like, polyester. And I was like, bruh, for the price of this, like, polyester, that's insane. Like, I'm going to make my own duck hat. Like, I have loads of friends that are designers that would make me a duck hat. So there's no need to buy an overpriced Burberry one that's made of polyester. But once again, like that stress, the reason why I understand it is like, if you're just that rich, like if you make millions, it's not that much money to just buy the Phoebe Philo piece and not think of it. So I get it. Like, I don't make a lot of money, so it makes sense why I just don't see the point of buying low quality pieces for crazy prices because you're paying for a brand name when I could just, like, I literally went to fashion school. I have so many designer friends. I could just tell them, oh, I'll pay you like $200 to $300 to make me this like custom like piece, and I'll give you the fabric. Like, I'll buy the fabric and give it to you, and get some like amazingly tailored piece. But maybe people that have a lot of money don't want to go through all that stress, like going back and forth with like some tailor and stuff like that. They just want to buy it once and then move on and focus on what makes them millions, I guess. And that's why I just say, like, I'm not the customer. I'm not the target audience. Exactly. Like for them, it's like buying a cheap top from Primark. Exactly. So it's all about context, I guess. In my opinion, you might be able to create something yourself, but the cuts, the falls, and the silhouettes are the trademark. I feel that has a huge role to play in the valuation of the brand. While I do agree, I agree to a point. Like, if I was just going to any random tailor to get them made, then yes. But I know tailors that can replicate the shapes of like a Phoebe Philo or like a lot of different brands. So that's why, like, I literally say that, because if you think of like Phoebe Philo's clothes herself, okay, it has a really good cut, and it's in the cut of the clothes are informed by Phoebe Philo's direction. But at the end of the day, Phoebe Philo is not the one actually hand sewing these pieces herself. So that would suggest that there are other people that have the skills to make these shapes, because it's not Phoebe Philo that's physically making these clothes. So in the same vein, I can just find people that have the same skills to make the same silhouettes, if that makes sense. So as much as like what differentiates it is the cut, I can still get that cut. And even the Phoebe Philo cut, she's made that her signature, but it's not unique. Like we were saying earlier, that she takes a lot of inspiration from like Helmut Lang. There are many others that have trousers that are shaped like that. The whole drapey, really long and wide trousers. That's not like crazy original. So there's many like tailors and designers that can do that. Or do you know anyone in Antwerp who can make me something? I've been looking everywhere but can't seem to find one for a reasonable price. I don't really know about Antwerp. I don't really, unfortunately, because I went to fashion school in London, so everyone I know is like kind of London based. Maybe if I went to like the Royal Academy of Fine Arts, I'd have loads of friends who are designers and like based in Antwerp, and stuff. But I don't have a clue. If you ask me London, then yes, I could give you loads of people. I think the main thing I take from this launch is how Phoebe Philo is apparently managing to have the leverage of being supported by the billionaires, but retain a majority stake, retaining her leverage. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of home sewers who can hem their white trousers super long too. Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, like 100%. But yeah, anyway, guys, this was fun. I feel like we've kind of exhausted looking at the whole collection, let's just do one last refresh for good measure and see how much of it is sold out. I personally like it. Of course, it will definitely split opinions. The price, we've gone back and forth about the prices. But I'm interested to see kind of where she goes from there. And I just want to see if in the future we get sort of like an aesthetic shift, because this obviously is in the vein of like her Celine and a continuation of that. And just the reclaiming of everyone that has kind of taken her aesthetic from the Row to Peter Doe. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for tuning into the live stream. And I'll be back with another live stream next week or at the end of the week.